Umar Saab, and thank you for PPF for organizing this. I think you answered your question yourself, with the scapegoating of the immigrants, and it's not happening just in the United States with Trumpism, focusing or spotlighting the Mexicans and the Central Americans. But if you look at in Europe as well, and I'll ask Dr. Sadia later to elaborate that because she works on Europe quite extensively. This rising tide of anti-immigrant policies is also linked to the anti-globalization movement that we are, uh, facing or contending with. And alongside, what has also happened is that we also have this rise or revert, we are going back to nationalisms here in what is Make America Great Again, UK leaving Brexit, all these leaving Europe, sorry, and all these different dimensions of political behavior indicate that somehow many countries are going back to the raw and toxic idea of a nationalism. In India, you can see with Narendra Modi using the same ideas in in Turkey. Erdogan also employs this trope in Hungary. In many other parts, wherever you have rise in authoritarian populism, you see this recourse to nationalist ideas and nationalist rhetoric. And I think I will pick up from where Danish and Sadia left, is that we really have to go much deeper into this issue of income and wealth inequality because the levels of inequality, for example, in the US, are perhaps the highest after a century or so. I mean, it has never been that unequal, with top 1% owning or controlling 40 to 50% of wealth, and with the bottom 50% not getting anything. I mean, just one factoid says it all, that two-thirds of Americans do not have any kind of savings to rely upon if they face an emergency. Now, this is world's most powerful, richest nation. And this kind of economic disempowerment and anxiety is what is encashed by populists like
And
Donald Trump. And
it's also
whether,
said that this will be the first generation in America which will do worse than the last one. Usually in
yes,
America in last 200 years, every generation did better than the last generation.
yeah,
This will be
I
the
mean,
first one.
exactly. I mean, I don't want to go into the Gini coefficients, but if you even look at that, the US has the much higher, I mean, compared to Europe, Canada, Australia, all the advanced so-called developed countries, the US is most unequal. And therefore, one of the theories, now, of course, this is also open to debate. I mean, this has been said many a time about how far income and wealth inequalities are playing into this rise of right-wing authoritarian, political ideas. But I think ideology is also, and that's where nationalism sort of comes into play, because this whole idea of locking the country, building the walls, and deciding who's native and who's not is a project that we see everywhere. I mean, even in Pakistan, what we've done to Afghan refugees in the past few years, the way they have been labeled and forcibly sent back to a very insecure, violent environment, and women, girls who were studying in schools were also forced to leave. So it's a kind of a global thing. I mean, we just can't focus on US alone, or for that matter Europe. I mean, in India is doing the same to Bangladeshis who came into Assam, Northeast, and other northeastern states. So I think these two particular factors are leading to what we call a decline or retreat of liberal democracy. Now, the thing is that there are many people who would say, why should we really care? Because ultimately, what was liberal democracy doing? Was it really serving the people well? Was it creating a better society, a better alternative? And I think that is a question that needs to be interrogated as well, because the way the idea of democracy, or corporate democracy, as some on the left call it, has been hijacked by oligarchs, special interests, just the way we are seeing tech billionaires controlling the US government and its policy in the years to come. I mean, again, is was the system inherently giving way or openings to such elite capture? And I think that particular lack of faith in institutions, democratic institutions, regulatory institutions, redistributive institutions, is the primary reason, and that's why we really have to now reimagine what sort of a democracy. I mean, are we talking about a social democracy? Are we talking about redistributive democracy, an inclusive political system? Because the models that we followed, I mean, globally, I mean, in South Asia, we of course inherited that from the British after 1947, the Westminster model of democracy, and even India has turned that into an illiberal model, just like Turkey or other parts. And do we really, I mean, is that really working for the people, for the greatest good of the greatest number? I think those questions really have to be asked and interrogated in the coming